What happens when a modern army goes to war against birds? Not mythical creatures, not giant monsters, just big, fast, flightless birds with feathers and long legs. And yet, they won. Have you ever heard of a battle where machine guns were no match for animals? This is the real story of the Great Emu War. Yes, it actually happened. And yes, the emus won. But how? Why did Australia even go to war with birds? And how did it turn into one of the most bizarre chapters in military history? Let's rewind to 1932, just a few years after World War I. Australia was struggling, especially farmers in Western Australia. These weren't ordinary times. The Great Depression had hit, and soldiers returning from war were promised land to farm. But no one told them how hard that would be. And then came the emus, tens of thousands of them. After mating season, over 20,000 emus began migrating inland, straight into farmland. Hungry, massive, and completely uninterested in fences, they stomped through crops like they didn't exist. The farmers were desperate. Their wheat fields, already weak from drought, were being trampled and devoured. So they did what desperate people sometimes do: they called for help. And not just any help. They turned to the government and asked for military intervention. Now here's the twist. The government said yes. Why would a government send soldiers with machine guns to fight birds? Maybe they wanted to support their war veterans who had become the farmers. Maybe they thought it would be easy. A quick win. A way to flex some military muscle without much risk. They were wrong. In November 1932, soldiers rolled into the farmland with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. They were led by Major G.P.W. Meredith from the Royal Australian Artillery. He probably didn't expect that his opponent would outrun bullets. But that's exactly what happened. The first attempts to ambush the emus failed. The birds were too fast, too scattered. As soon as the guns fired, the emus bolted in all directions. Do you know how fast an emu can run? Up to 50 kilometers per hour. And not only that, they moved in small, unpredictable groups. They didn't clump together like soldiers. They darted through scrubland, vanished into tall grass, and regrouped before anyone could aim. In one case, they mounted a machine gun on a truck to chase them down. Sounds clever, right? But the terrain was too rough. The truck bounced around so much that no one could aim properly. And the emus just kept running. At the end of the first week, over 2,500 rounds had been fired. Less than 500 emus were confirmed killed. That's a 20% success rate. And that's when the media heard about it. Newspapers mocked the campaign. Headlines laughed about the emu war. Cartoonists had a field day. The idea of the mighty Australian military being outsmarted by birds was just too funny to ignore. Back in the field, morale was sinking. Even Major Meredith started making strange comments. He once said that if emus had the brains of soldiers, they could rule the world. The campaign was paused, reassessed, then resumed again for a second phase. This time they tried new tactics, targeted small groups, waited in ambush, and yes, they did kill more emus. Estimates range from 900 to maybe 1,000 birds. But at what cost? Thousands of bullets, days of effort, embarrassment on the world stage. Eventually, the operation was quietly called off. And the emus? They kept roaming the land, kept eating crops, kept doing exactly what they wanted. So what do we make of this strange feathered fiasco? Was it a symbol of military overconfidence? A tale of nature's unpredictability? Or just one big funny misadventure in history? Maybe it's a reminder that even with all our power, nature has its own rules. And maybe we should ask ourselves, if we couldn't beat birds with guns, what else might be out there quietly watching, waiting, and ready to win without ever firing back? Think that was weird? Oh, we're just getting started. This channel's where the curious get curiouser. Strange facts, mind-bending twists, and questions you didn't even know you needed to ask. That's our vibe. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, if you dare. Because reality's weirder than you think, and we're peeling it back one video at a time.